Right, Sean, Katie, Sean, Katie, Rings of Power. Ugh.
We have to have an open mind.
Yes,
Sean.
open mind. Yeah.
Do you remember when we watched the trailer for the very first season of Rings of Power, and we were so optimistic? We were like, "Oh, it's gonna be so good. It looks so beautiful. It's gonna be so great." Amazon, they've done really well. Yeah.
Dumpster fire. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't a dumpster fire.
It had its moments. There was potential, but it was just kind of overshadowed by weird choices. It
was a bit like Disney. I would say it's a bit like Disney. There was good bits sprinkled in, but there was far too much nonsense that just couldn't be avoided.
Yeah.
So something that I read up recently, because I've recently been going back through in the Tolkien verse. It's actually, I think I might be psychic. You know, I was like, no, because I've rewatched The Lord of the Rings recently. You know, that one's monthly, but, you know, I've rewatched The Hobbit, all of The Hobbit. I've read The Hobbit again. I'm up to 2 towers now. And I just started doing this, like, last week. And then Rings of Power? Anyway.
I don't think that's you being psychic. I think that's just you being a nerd.
Anyway. I know. Yeah. Anyway. Something that I discovered on Google, I've never really thought about. Someone said the reason that the elves are never corrupted like men are is because Sauron has nothing to do with the creation of those 3 rings. He creates the rings for the men and the dwarves. The elves create their rings. That's why they don't get corrupted. That being said, he did have something to do with creating the elven rings. I didn't say elven eggs there. Do elves have eggs?
I don't know.
I assume not. But anyway, that was just something that I recently discovered.
I understand, yeah. In the initial opening sequence with Cate Blanchett, it doesn't really specify who makes the rings or who is involved. It kind of hints at it being Sauron between all of them. It says,
yeah. There was the forging of the great rings.
Yeah, and then it just says, but they were all the same because another ring was made.
But it does say 3 were given to the elves. Given to the elves. Wisest, fairest. No. Wisest. Fairest and... Wisest, fairest and... Something beings. 7 to the dwarf lords. Great miners, craftsmen of the mountain halls. 9. What are the elves? Wisest. Immortal, wisest and fairest of all beings. That might be it.
But again, though, even that doesn't actually differentiate. It just says they were given to the elves and then the dwarves and then the men. So I understand if they're just going off the movies, I understand that logic of why they would mix him up in that. But it's just...
Well, there's a lot of inconsistencies, but we'll react to the trailer and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
We'll see if this trailer adds anything.
Probably not. Oh.
Jesus. It's loud.
All the time.
Ancient and powerful has returned.
Oh. It's black sludge.
Prepare yourselves.
There she is.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Never mind.
He worms his way inside your mind. The crest of him slithers in.
I think he has been here. I think he's been here among us all along.
Oh. That's different.
It's obviously his elven disguise, isn't
Every
it?
soul in Middle Earth is in peril.
Beagles.
He's Sauron.
Oh well, at least it's not in July or June.
Yeah, everything. So, by that, I do think it's very likely that the next story is going to be dwarves.
The dwarves, yeah.
That's what we. Did they confirm that's what was going to happen?
No, that was our theory.
Yeah, it was going to be first season elves, and then it's going to be dwarves, and it's going to be men, then it's going to be like the final kind of.
Yeah. The War of the Rings.
Yeah.
Well, not the War of the Rings, the War of the Last Alliance, but.
Interesting.
What was Thingy's dad called again? Was he Durin as well? There's the two Durins. Because there's Elrond's friend Durin,
I can't.
and then there's
remember.
him. Is he Durin? My thing is, at what point will the dwarves? Where was their kingdom again? Was it Moria? It was Moria, wasn't it? At what point will they delve too greedily and too deep?
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do because they found the Mithril, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they only just found it.
Yeah, so I think they're about to. I don't think they'll.
Durin's Bane.
Might be like the end of the show.
Mm.
I imagine, because I imagine they'll help. These will probably help in the War of the Last Alliance, won't they?
The dwarves do.
They're meant to, even though they didn't show you in the movies. They're meant to.
Yeah.
So that is elven attire.
Yeah. They're going to have to do some explaining here because, I'm sorry, but, dyeing your hair blonde and making your ears pointy isn't enough to stop him looking like the guy he was in the first series.
Galadriel and...
Gil-galad and Celebrimbor, Elrond will all know what he looks like. So will Elendil, Isildur,
the Queen,
the Queen,
the people, what was she called? The people of the village that ended up becoming Mordor.
The Southerners.
Yeah, like the southern men.
Yeah.
They
And
what it looked like. Pretty much everyone in this story except for the dwarves.
Adar, was that what he was called? Adar. The guy who was like not the first orc, but he created the first
They were
orc.
calling them Adar, yeah.
Yeah, because it was
His
father.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Uruk.
Yeah. See, again, it just... it's
So
a bit like... Yeah, go on.
One of the things that really confused me,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like a lot of people can agree, that looks terrifying,
Mm-hmm.
is Galadriel. Because for me, she does not strike me as the Galadriel that we were presented with through Cate Blanchett.
You know what argument I hate for that people always say to me?
What?
It's not that Galadriel. She needs to grow up to become Cate Blanchett.
She's literally centuries old.
Mm-hmm.
She is grown up, but it's...
She's about 2,000-year-old here.
Yeah. But for me, though, right, at this point, the relationship she has, not only with the men, but with the the dwarves and the elves, why would she be considered as being one of the ring people gifted the rings?
She is gifted one of the rings.
I know she is, but why? From what we've seen in the first season, she shouldn't have been given one. She was sent away by Gil-galad, yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
He didn't want her there.
Yeah. She's
Do you know
not
what I mean?
like...
She ran off and was causing all these problems, and
Yeah.
they didn't really seem to like her.
Yeah.
But then she's one of the people that gets trusted in one of the rings that's meant to help save their kingdom. Save the elven race. Like, that just doesn't make sense. She is not, for me, like... It's just, she's too different.
Yeah.
I know she can still grow and she can still have character development, but there's just nothing in her remotely that reminds me of Cate Blanchett's Galadriel.
Yeah. Well,
So they'll have to do some serious character development to get her there.
I was going to say that's their own doing, isn't it, with the first series? Because she just... I feel sorry for the lass because she's just doing her job, but good grief, she was hard to watch sometimes. Some of the writing that they'd done for her was just horrendous.
Yeah, it was very, like, self-congratulatory. I felt
Yeah.
like, a lot. And it was kind of like, even though, like, I'm trying to convince you to join me, you're wrong and you're bad, and here's all the reasons why.
Yeah. And then there's that scene in the marketplace where, for some reason she just embarrasses all the men in front of all the people that they're supposed to be defending. So yeah, that's one way to really, win the people on your side, is just being an absolute bumhole to your soldiers. Yeah, Galadriel wasn't very good. None of the characters were very good. I didn't think any of the characters were very good.
Elrond was good. I felt like him and Durham were probably the best. in the show.
Yeah.
I felt like.
Gil-galad was cool as well.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a ponce, but I think that's the point. I think he's meant to be. Well, to be fair,
were-
all the
there
elves
were-
are meant to be ponces, aren't they?
There were bits that I did enjoy. I liked kind of the history stuff. I liked
The opening.
the
Where it talked about
opening.
Morgoth
Yeah, I
and-
liked the explanation on Mithril and how that was kind of created. I liked that.
Is that meant to be Sauron?
I think so.
Because it's meant to look like the eye, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that's the sort of.
But why would he help him? This is the confusing thing with what they set up in the first season.
I think what they're going to end up doing here is, because of the way they wrote the first series, I think they're going to make out at least 2 or 3 of these characters are idiots. And it's not going to be Sauron's that clever. It's going to be these characters are idiots. Instead of going down the route of going, Sauron is this clever. Because in theory what you would do is you would go, right, you know, Halbrand, it was revealed, was Sauron in the last series.
Yeah.
Let's cast someone else as a character, put him somewhere with Celebrimbor. We'll not make him the main character. We'll not make him the, you know, whatever. He'll just be with Celebrimbor, and he's, as the series goes on, he's adding just little things, little ideas, little nuggets, you know, adding, and then it's revealed that this elf was actually Sauron as well, and then it's, you know, because then you paint him as a deceiver. I don't like the idea of him being the same guy, just in an elf costume. That's a bit silly.
It's like you said, they could have these awesome characters who, and then just it makes Sauron look that much better. The fact he managed to deceive them, the fact that he got away with it. But the fact is that Galadriel figured it out, and then for some reason didn't tell anyone. From what we saw in the first season, and she might at this, but then why would they wear the rings? Why would they go about it as if nothing happened?
Yeah.
Why would she even be given a ring? I'm still not over that. She didn't do anything that would make him want to give her a ring.
Yeah.
Do you think this is meant to be her husband that she said was missing and she lost?
Right, so, yeah, Galadriel.
Do you think that's meant to be him?
I don't know. There's a few
He's blonde, that was my only
There's a
reason
few
for that.
legendary elves, isn't there, that you can sort of question. Obviously, that's Elrond. This fellow in the back is not Gil-galad. I don't know who she is. I have no idea. But when you think about blonde-haired elven like men, you could have obviously a husband's Celeborn in the series, in the film, sorry, and in the book. But a rather famous blonde elf is one called Glorfindel. But I'm pretty sure Glorfindel dies in the First Age. I think Glorfindel dies killing Gothmog.
Right.
You know, the captain of the Balrogs. I think he died, but he does come back because Glorfindel's in the Lord of the Rings.
Is he?
In the well, he's in the film, but in the book, it's Glorfindel that saves Frodo when the Nazgul are after him.
Before he gets to Rivendell?
Yeah.
Right.
In the film, they put Arwen in there, and Glorfindel's a seriously powerful elf. Like, you know, he beat the captain of the Balrogs, for God's sake. You know, he's pretty hardcore. So it might be him. But when's this set again? It's Second Age, isn't it? Was it the First Age? Second Age. It's got to be the Second Age, isn't it?
I think it's the Second Age.
War of the Last Alliance is Second Age.
Well, I'll have to.
The end of the First Age is the War of Wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Second Age. I don't think he comes back to the Third Age, so I don't think it can be Glorfindel. But who knows at this point? You know, for goodness sake, Gandalf's in it, and he doesn't show up till the Third Age in the book. So, you know. And all you people are saying it's probably not Gandalf. It's probably Gandalf.
But even if it was just another wizard, they were sent to Middle Earth to help guide men because, like...
We did see him, didn't we? There he is, yeah.
That's like the only shot that we see of him.
And look, he's got a stick and he's doing a "you shall not pass" thing. There's him.
Is that the that's the Dwarven city, isn't it?
Which one?
I don't actually know if it's Moria. I don't know if
The mountain one where we saw the two Durins, that was Moria. I don't know if this is Moria. This might be Lindon, because
Right.
Lindon does get destroyed. Although I might be wrong. Does his face?
Look different. Yes.
No, does it look? It doesn't look practical. It looks like CGI, and if it's CGI, I'm gonna hate it already.
That's not the same. The same one. That's definitely not the same actor, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? That doesn't look like him at all.
No, it's definitely him.
Is this meant to be meant to be like a younger version of him? Do you think maybe?
Oh, maybe yeah.
Just because it doesn't look at all like.
Then where
what
would
he
this
did.
be? If this is him, if that's him as a younger attacking this, then what could this be?
I don't know.
What's some elven cities that have been destroyed?
I know, but that just makes it look cave-like, unless it's like on the side of a mountain. To make it
Baleriand.
just looks cave-like.
I haven't read enough of the stuff to really be Is she shooting 2 fire arrows?
Looks like it.
What's the point?
To kill 2 targets.
Well, not really. Yeah, she is. She's shooting. Yeah, that's just silly. Well, I will admit that looks a lot better than the arrival of the Numenorians in the last series. Maybe they upped their budget.
He's chucking rings into a fire.
Who is that?
How many rings is there? 7 rings. We're gonna have to count these rings.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I got the fish alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. I thought I was being clever.
Well, that. Oh, see them. Then yeah, it is going to paint all the characters as idiots. That's Celebrimbor. You're telling me he's not going to look at this bloke and go, "Oh my God, you look remarkably similar to that other guy who we got rid of."
But that makes it seem like it is. But then if that is the case, then why would he continue to forge the rings that he clearly has so much want and involvement in? It just doesn't make sense.
So they could have gone down 2 paths. They could have, like I said, they could have gone down the path of having Sauron. It's less about how crap the other characters are and just how clever Sauron is. And it feels like that's what they've tried to do, but instead all they've painted is that every character is an idiot except Sauron. Celebrimbor's an idiot. You know, he's meant to be this master smith who
Yeah.
he knows everything
And
about
for some reason
smithy.
he's taking advice from who he thinks is just some random
Yeah.
man that he's just met.
And then he sees the guy that looks like him. You can't just shave it off, dye your hair, point your ears. That doesn't work. It looks like him. And he just. But then the question's going to be asked, if this is Lindon and all the rings are getting forged here. Elrond obviously isn't here, because it did make it seem like Galadriel told Elrond, at least.
But Elrond figured it out, didn't he?
Yeah, and Galadriel obviously knows, so they can't be here. They can't be at Lindon, because if surely it wouldn't go down the path of having these 2 elves also tricked by the worst disguise. He's supposed to be a great deceiver, not a fancy
wig
dresser.
wearer.
Yeah. Oh, God. Ow.
Oh, it looks like he might have some contact lenses in.
Oh, thank God, at least it's changed his eye colour. So where is this? It's making it seem like this is Lindon that's getting sort of wrecked, but that's not Lindon.
Maybe you know what that's going to end up being? It's going to end up being what's it called? What's the name of it?
I don't know.
And the last one, where Frodo and Sam, where they're about to go into the cave, they go past that big, what's it called? And the last one.
Minas Morgul.
Is that where the cave is before they go into.
Yeah, the Witch King's
Yeah.
palace. Angmar.
Yeah.
You think it's Angmar? No.
Do you think?
Can't possibly be
With the
Angmar.
hills and the way it looks.
No.
And like the clouds swirling above it.
Angmar's not established until after Sauron's defeated. It's called something like Fornost. And it is in the Third Age.
Okay, but just because it is in the books doesn't mean it's going to be in this.
No, that's true.
It just looked, in the shape of it, and like the pointy bits, it just looked.
Doesn't look like Angmar.
Do you not think?
No. Are you not thinking of the play?
I think they're the right place.
I don't know. Angmar is when Frodo and Sam walk past it, and it's sort of like got a greenish hue,
Yeah.
and then it shoots the green thing up into the
Yeah.
air. That's Angmar.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's Minas Morgul.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not called Angmar. It's called Minas Morgul. It's the Witch King of Angmar's fortress.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
It used to be called something like Fornost, I'm sure, before it became.
I just thought it looked a bit similar. And the hills and stuff, I was like, oh, that's going to be in.
I was going to say
Morgul.
it'll be something like something ridiculous, like it'll either be Barad-dûr or it'll be Orthanc, maybe. Maybe it'll be the start of Orthanc. You know, Isengard.
But, well, I guess it depends on which wizard that's meant to be, if it's meant to be Gandalf or not. It has to be Gandalf.
If that wizard's there, then it's Gandalf. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to just bring in another wizard and just happen to be Saruman. Basically, they're taking a lot of liberties with this show. More liberties, in fact, than the films took. A lot of people like to hate on the films because they're not exact to the books. These have thrown the book. The book's gone. This is something else. But it could be Orthanc, it could be... Because, you know, these hills could be Caradhras, where he does the at Gandalf and the Fellowship. I don't know. I'm not as optimistic about this as I was about when the first one came out. Because I didn't think they'd get the first series so wrong. They just seemed to make such silly mistakes.
It was very slow as well, I felt like. There was a series of, I want to say, like 3 or 4 episodes where they were in Numenor, and it was just the same conversation.
It was just nothing happening.
And it was just, and I was like, oh, come on, this could just be one conversation with you giving this great speech about, you know, men and Middle Earth and how it all needs to, you know, you need help. And it just wasn't, and it just, every conversation was the same, and for me, it just made Galadriel look worse and worse as time went on.
Yeah.
I was kind of just like, good God, just leave then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just go.
My favourite bits, I will admit, I like the reveal of the Palantir. I didn't mind that in Numenor. I didn't mind the bit with the Balrog and the elf. Part of me wants to see more Balrogs. I want to see Balrogs.
Just so you can do your Ian McKellen impressions.
No. Just as I've been sort of exploring the Tolkien lore, there's just things that I want to see. I say to hell with this. Let's go back to like the War of Wrath. Let's go full Morgoth. We'll get Glaurung in, you know, the first dragon. You know.
Is that the one that's meant to be like massive?
No.
Oh.
The one that's massive and Calagon.
The
Black.
There's meant to be like a giant spider as well, isn't it? That's
Ungoliant.
like, yeah.
Who eats the light from the trees.
That would just like make you feel sick, wouldn't
Does
it?
she eat the light from the trees or does she eat the light from the Silmarils? She basically eats everything.
Just chomps away.
She scares Morgoth. That's how cool she is. Because she just eats everything. Light, power, everything. Just gone. But yeah, there's Calagon the Black.
I think I saw a video where
He's
they
the
went
dragon.
over the dragons.
If you look at you know how we always laugh when we say, when we're talking about Game of Thrones, we say, you see how big Drogon is, but then you get the picture and the comparison with the Black Dread, with Balerion.
Yeah.
It's even bigger with Lord of the Rings. Like if you imagine the size of Smaug in Erebor, he's like, you get like this on
minuscule.
on the comparison, and then and Cologon's like this big.
I think I saw like, I don't know if it was like the actual kind of like illustration or what, but I don't know if it was like a fan art or something, but it was like him lying, it was just kind of like leaning on a mountain,
Oh yeah.
and I was just like, oh jeez, that would be cool, but I don't know if they'd ever do that.
When he
because-
gets killed, he destroys. I can't pronounce it. Thongorodrim or something like that, because he just falls on top of it and just destroys everything.
What is that, a city?
It's an orc base. He just falls, completely destroys everything. You know it's cool when Morgoth's like, I'm losing this battle, let's bring out my secret weapon. And the secret weapon is bigger than everything. And the shiny ship kills him. That's where it is.
The shiny ship.
The guy with the shiny ship. I've forgotten his name. It's called like Manwë or something like that. No, not Manwë. Manwë's the... I think he's one of the Maya. Oh, God, it's gonna... I think it's the one that... You know how she gives Frodo the light?
Mm-hmm.
And he does his little incantation. I'm sure he says the guy's name. Because this ship is made of light. It's a flying ship.
Right.
Right.
Just call him the man with the shiny ship.
I think he's... Right, don't quote me, because I'm not a Tolkien expert. Don't quote me, but I think it's Arendelle. Close to Elendale, but it's Arendelle.
Okay.
I think.
I'll take your word for it.
I might be completely wrong.
You might be.
But I want to see...
But at least you
I
try.
want to see Gothmog. Do you know who else fights and Calagon? The King of the Eagles. And I've forgotten his name as well. Right, so it's either Thorondir, or it's Gwaihir. But I think Gwaihir was one of the eagles that helped during the War of the Ring. I think Thorondir is the king of the eagles.
How did Tolkien come up with these names?
So you know what?
It's crazy.
Have you ever seen the thing where it's like he built a world so he could tell a children's story to his kids? Like that's what The Hobbit is. The Hobbit's just a children's story that he could give to his kids. In this fantastic, and then he just started. His head just exploded, and there was elves, and there was giant fire demons, and there was dragons, and there was rings, and there was little furry beasts with feet, and talking trees, and elves, and ships, and there was black ghosty things, and there was giant spiders, and man just didn't give his brain a rest. Honestly, what a guy. Anyway, that was us reacting to the Rings of Power. What would you do a series in Lord of the Rings? I would have said this before this happened.
I would have said this, but like done right.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wanted to say this. This is always because the opening for the Lord of the Rings was so cool, and it was so impactful.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of this happened, and I felt like it just completely nerfed Isildur and what's he called? His dad. I always
Did
forget his name.
Isildur die? Did Isildur die in the last series?
No, I don't think so.
Did he get wounded or something?
I think he got separated from his dad. His dad thought he died or something.
Because I swear we were like, is Isildur dead? It's like, of all the characters to, crazily kill off.
He was in like a burning house, wasn't he? He was trying to get people out of a burning house.
Maybe, yeah. His dad's called Elendil.
I always forget his name. Yeah, I felt like it nerfed him a bit. We talked about that before, didn't we, on a car ride home once, about how I felt like he was just...
Well, something that we said, that I said to you once, was, the arrival of the Númenóreans in Middle-earth is supposed to be like a really, really big deal. It's like them essentially settling on Middle-earth before Númenor's destroyed.
Yeah.
And they just dropped the ball on it, because it looked terrible in the series. It just looked like, there's a couple... there's 20 or so horses, and we're here to save the day, and Galadriel's there.
Yeah.
Where really it should be like a massive sort of coming together of men, coming to save the sort of those people who still worship the Dark Ones, or whatever it was. And it was just kind of, it was like, I don't want to see them do that to the War of the Last Alliance. The 4 minutes at the beginning of The Lord of the Rings is all I need for the War of the Last Alliance. Hugo Weaving, that's it. Narrated by Cate Blanchett. That's all I need. Let's not ruin it. Because it's just Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit doesn't compare. This doesn't compare. Nothing compares to the Lord of the Rings. But yeah, if you weren't allowed to pick the War of the Last Alliance, what would you pick?
I don't even know. Because I feel like if you did like Morgoth, that would just be too difficult to do.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, he's not like Sauron. He's just like this being, isn't he? So
You would have to have a crazy budget
it would be so
just for
hard to
special
do.
effects.
Yeah, and with the Balrogs and the dragons, and it would just
Be a cartoon,
yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
A good animated show of it. I wouldn't mind if it was good, but I really just wanted this to be good. We were looking forward to it so much.
I'm not sure what I would do either. I would maybe do... Well, the new Lord of the Rings film's called The Hunt for Gollum. Do you know that?
I think you told us, yeah. The Hunt for Gollum.
It's called The Hunt for Gollum, and it's Andy Serkis directing with Peter Jackson as an executive producer. But I was going to say, what I wouldn't have minded would have been sort of something maybe about the wizards. You know, like a series dedicated to each wizard. Well, not like a series, but like a series dedicated to the wizards. You know, Gandalf with the hobbits and Aragorn and all that. Saruman sort of consolidating himself. Radagast in the wild. The two...
Unknown.
Well, they do have names.
Blue.
I forgot the names. It's something like Ulmo and marijuana, maybe. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, maybe.
Yeah. I just feel like these are the kind of the obvious times to do, because it's all... Like, they couldn't even... Like, imagine if we went even further back to where it was, like, the age of the trees and age of light. Like, how would they even do that?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as well, is that this bit that they're doing isn't actually in a book. You know, the War of the Last Alliance isn't really written. It's just mentioned and talked about, and
Yeah, I know, but it's like people.
yeah.
That's
But
what I
like the
meant.
War of the Wrath is written. It is like in books.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I think that's why they've probably picked this, is that they can do whatever they want with it, and no one can really say, well, that's not how the books did it. But it's kind of like, we can still say that because these moments are referenced by
Yeah.
other people in the book.
So we still know what happens.
Yeah, like we know that Elrond and Elendil are going to die, mortally wounding Sauron before Isildur cuts his hand off. And it's actually, it's going to be quite difficult, I think, because there's years. There's the rings get made, there's Sauron deceives them, and then the War of the Last Alliance goes on for a really long time.
I don't know. My point for why I think it would be difficult to any of those, it was purely just because these are like people.
Yeah.
Whereas, and if you go any further back, it gets to more where it's just like
Yeah.
creatures and
Spirits and...
yeah, where it's harder to do. And I want Morgoth to be cool. I don't want Morgoth to like...
What about Beren and Luthien?
What's that?
That might be a good story. It's the story of the elven maiden who fell in love with a man. But it's set during Morgoth's time.
I mean, they could. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Depends what they did with it.
That'd probably be a... would it be a
Are
film?
they not already kind of doing that in Rings of Power though?
Probably.
Like, this is twice now they've done...
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, twice. They've done elf with man.
Well,
They even tried to do elf with dwarf.
yeah, well, the thing is, elf and man is kind of... That was... The whole thing that Aragorn and Arwen thing is based on Beren and Luthien. That's why Aragorn sings about her when he's with the hobbits. She identifies with the man. But I think the man dies. And Luthien's forced to wander alone,
Yeah.
heartbroken.
But it works for Aragorn and
Yeah.
Arwen.
Anyway, that's enough. That was just watching the Rings of Power trailer. Let us know what you think down in the comments. What bits did you like in the first series? What stories would you make a series about, or a film? Thing is, they're just never going to top the Lord of the Rings. They're not even going to get close to the Lord of the Rings.
I'm
The Lord of the Rings
curious.
is only rated an 8 on IMDb. Fellowship of the Ring. What are they thinking of? That's just blasphemous.
I know, but some people might not have liked the fact
Don't
that it
care.
wasn't exactly based on the books, was it?
Okay. Yeah, anything else you would say?
I wonder what the Gollum movie's going to be like. Like, what time is that set? Before he gets the ring? But then why would he be hunting Gollum? Because after he gets the ring? But, I mean, I know there's a significant period of time. What is it, like 500 years?
Something like that,
He
yeah.
has the ring, isn't it? So I know, but surely the main plot points for that time is when he meets Bilbo and then when he goes off for, when he gets captured and when he
Well,
goes after the ring.
They might try and do like a mini story where it's Aragorn and Gandalf trying to find him before he gets taken by the Orcs of Barad-dûr.
Do you reckon they're going to get Hugo Weaving back?
No, he said he's done with him.
But I don't want it.
Hugo Weaving?
What's his name?
I don't know. Who are you talking about? Aragorn.
Is it not... What's his name?
Aragorn.
Yeah.
Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen. Who's Hugo Weaving?
Elrond.
Ah. Yeah. I told you I'm not very good with names, that one, yeah.
Yeah, Hugo Weaving said he was done with the big franchise films. Viggo Mortensen didn't even come back for The Hobbit because he didn't want just a gratuitous cameo.
Yeah. Viggo Mortensen. That's a cool name.
And I swear, isn't The Hobbit set 60 years before Lord of the Rings? It's 60 years, I'm sure it's 60 years.
It's something like
60 years, Aragorn's only 27. So he's about my age. Obviously, I look better for a 27-year-old than Aragorn. I don't think Aragorn didn't even have a sword when he was 27.
that. I think
I
he
did.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine it's probably going to be like...
Yeah.
It's weird, I don't know.
I thought of all the characters that you choose to make a film about, I don't know why you would pick Gollum.
I mean, it's Andy Serkis, isn't it?
I know, but he's had enough films made about him. He's had games made about him.
Might just be like a movie just following his... I don't even know, because for me, while I did like Gollum, he wasn't like a main character. Like, he couldn't just go off and
Do you know what I would have
do
done?
something.
I've just thought of it there while you were saying what you were saying there. I would like to see a series based after The Lord of the Rings. Seeing what happens to all of them after the War of the Ring. See what happens to Sam, that he gets to go to Valinor when he's old. See Frodo
Right.
again.
Oh, I thought you meant like when because Saruman says, isn't he, about something festers in the heart of Middle Earth.
Oh yeah, that's just a
throwaway.
but like, you know, maybe we see Aragorn's reign. You know, them sort of disposing of all the orcs left in Mordor. You know, Merry and Pippin when they die get buried.
That'd be so sad though.
Yeah, they get buried beside Aragorn. It's cool though. Cool.
That'd be sad.
And Legolas and Gimli going to Valinor together. Something like that. I think that would be... I wouldn't mind that.
That'd be so sad though.
It would be sad, but I would like that. Because you assume that at the end of The Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King, you assume that that's just it. And like when I saw that, I was like, well, that must have been the ending for the book as well. Then you read the book and it's like, where was all this? It's like, I was sad for Sam not being able to see Frodo anymore, but he goes and sees Frodo before they both die. It's like, you know, it's nice. Obviously what happens to Middle Earth isn't all that nice, but, you know.
I still think I'd be really sad if that happened.
See all the sort of, the woodland, all the magical places like Lothlorien get destroyed.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep, that's enough. Thank you for watching.
I need to know.